What's up, YouTube? RBK here. Just doing a quick shout out. Master Chief 313. He's running a contest. I decided I'd get in it for some free cards. So, Master Chief, he'll be this corner, maybe that corner, maybe those corners, maybe right in front of my face. That's probably what I'll put him, right there, right in front of my face. There you go, Master Chief. There's your shout out. Give me some cards. We'll be square, right? Cool. On to the point of the video, I guess. I don't want to just do a shout out. So we'll talk about a little bit about a tourney I went to today. There were some issues. I mean, not judging, not playing, no players, whatever, but people who were running the tourney had no idea what they were doing. It was just a stupid little locals. But it was a box tournament, so I would have liked to have won. So what ended up happening is after my first round, I go and report my score. She writes it down, enters it into the computer. Go to round 2, I play this terrible deck. I mean, it was like a structure deck. So I stomp it. So supposedly now I'm 2-0. I'm wondering how this guy won. Anyways, I move on to round 3 and I ask my opponent what his ranking is, and he's 1-1. So bummer, I'm playing down. I look up, I ask the two people in front of me what their rankings are, and they're both at 1-1. So here's an issue. I go up to the counter. Talk to the lady, what do you have my score as? Well, she put me as a loss first round, so that's why I played the 0-1 player, who's now 0-2, and that's why I'm playing a 1-1 player right now. So we look at it, she looks at the paper she wrote it down on, and she was incorrect, obviously. So she fixes it for me, but I still have to complete my round against the 1-1 player, and I still have my previous round against someone who went 0-4 in the tourney. So I ended up 3-1, okay? I lost 1. To a glad beast. Got a bad matchup against them, so whatever. I lost 1. The guy I lost to actually went on top 4, so whatever. I should have good tiebreakers from that. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what tiebreakers actually are. When it comes down to it, when you're picking a top 4 or a top 16, top 8, top 32, whatever, you're going to have a cutoff point, most likely, between people with the same records. In this case, we had 2 people at 4-0 and 4 people at 3-1. So 2 people with a 3-1 record are not moving on to top 4 and do not have a chance to win any prizes, which is how it works, and I'm perfectly okay with that. But when you're deciding which of those 3-1s to move on, you look at this score called tiebreakers, and that's what I really want to talk about how they work. Tiebreakers reward you for beating good people, okay? And they punish you for losing to bad people. The way we look at good and bad is we look at their records at the end of the tournament. So when it comes down to tiebreakers, the fact that I beat someone who went 0-4 because my record was wrong after the first game, and then beat someone who ended up going 1-3 because my record was also wrong going into the third game, when it came down to it, my tiebreakers were terrible. When you look at tiebreakers, what you do is you look at the opponents that the person played throughout the tournament. Whoever beat the better ones, the better records, and lost to the better ones, meaning that you lost to someone who actually ended up doing well in the tournament, or you lost to someone who didn't do terrible. What happens is if you lose to someone who goes 1-3 or only wins 1 game, you're going to have terrible tiebreakers from that person. So what ended up happening is because my first 3 rounds were all against people who did really poorly in the tournament, I ended up not making the cut in tiebreakers. So just a heads up of how it works if you're at your tourney. It does matter what your record is and what the record of your opponent is. And when you hear someone talking about playing down, it means they're playing someone with a worse record, which means that their tiebreakers are going to be hurt from it, because either they beat someone who's not as good as them, which doesn't help your tiebreakers, or they lose to someone who's not as good to them, which kills your tiebreakers. So the idea is with tiebreakers, you really, especially for the tournament heads, you really need to make sure you have those right, because it does make a huge difference. And when players dropping too, there was an issue with a player dropping who was in top 4. The player dropped and the person decided not to take them out of the system, but just to put in the next person. That's really not how it works officially. When someone drops, their record is wiped, basically. So what happens is if you lost to someone who drops, your tiebreakers go down the drain. If you beat someone who dropped, your tiebreakers aren't so hot either. So when someone says that they're going to drop the tournament, they are actually removed from the tournament. Everyone who beat them and everyone who lost to them keeps their same record. But as far as tiebreakers go, that person is completely moot at this point. So you should really, really stay in the tournament if you don't want to be a dick to the people you lost to or beat. I mean, it's kind of courtesy not to screw with their tiebreakers. But, that's about all there is on that, my little rant. It happens sometimes. You lose because you got screwed. But, whatever. At least I didn't have to play any X Sabers. So, peace out, guys. Have fun. You too. Do what you do.